because he's the acceptable monster at this time, like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch. Jay-Z is setting Diddy up.
People are even calling me, asking me about him. You know, and I don't know him from a can of paint. He even mentioned my name, saying that I know. I know what I know. I don't know what he knows. But I do know this, that...
Let me spill the tea that's flooding the streets right now. Something unthinkable just happened. Jay-Z, the king of cool, the man who's always kept his composure, broke down and cried for help in public. Can you believe it? This isn't your typical celebrity drama, honey. We're talking about Hove, the guy who's always had it all together, suddenly showing a side of himself we've never seen before. Picture this: Jay-Z standing in front of everyone, tears streaming down his face. It's like seeing Superman without his cape. The streets are buzzing, saying it was a total shock. Nobody saw it coming. One minute he's Jay-Z, the hip-hop mogul, Beyoncé's other half, and the next he's just a man, vulnerable and asking for help. But here's the real question. What could make Jay-Z crack like that? What's going on behind those designer shades? Trust me, we're about to dive deep into this tea because there's definitely more to this story than meets the eye.
I give my opinion, and it seems to make a lot of people upset, you know, but then a lot of people love my opinion. That's why you bring me on here, and I really appreciate that, brother. I just want to say this before we get started, Art, is that, you know, a lot of people think I came here to bring a black man down. And that's what I hear in the comments a whole lot. But it was nothing like that. You know, a black man didn't cuss a dead man's mother out. A black man didn't set his friends up and put them in a situation where they couldn't come home to their families no more. A black man didn't reach back and help the people that helped them make it up the ladder. It was Puffy. You know what I'm saying? I got tired of Puffy going on different platforms talking about how he loved the people that we was all with, how he loved the people that helped him, when in fact, none of that stuff was true. So my whole thing about it is, man, I appreciate your platform for letting me, you know, voice my opinion. And like I said, opinions like an asshole. Some of these cats out here get paid for their asshole. I get paid to give my opinion.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I mean, yeah, you just on here giving your opinion, man. I mean, you was one of the people that was real close to the situation, so why not?
Thank you, I appreciate that.
So with that being said, right, the last interview me and you did was a day after the raid. And when you look at everything now, man, how you feel about everything? It's been like a week, you know, you knowing Diddy, you being around Diddy. Could you ever imagine that his houses would get raided for sex trafficking?
Bruh, you can't imagine no stuff like that. You understand? You can't think that, because back then, he wasn't Brother Love. He was Puffy. All the way up until he became Diddy. So his behavior over the years has changed.
All right, let's spill some more of this piping hot tea about Jay-Z's breakdown. What's really going on with our boy? The streets are saying there's a lot more to this story than just a bad day. First things first, we've got to talk about Jay's past. Growing up in the Marcy projects wasn't no easy life. Chile. That kind of upbringing can leave some serious scars, and even though he's come a long way from those days, that trauma doesn't just disappear because you've got a few platinum records. But it's not just about the past. Being on top of the game comes with its own set of problems. The pressure to stay relevant in the music industry is real. One minute you're hot, the next you're not. Jay-Z's been trying to keep that crown for decades now, and that kind of pressure has got to take a toll on a man's mind, you feel me? And let's not forget about all the recent drama in Jay's life. Remember the whole elevator incident with Solange? That was just the tip of the iceberg. The streets have been buzzing about trouble in paradise with Beyoncé for years now. Now, I'm not saying all the rumors are true, but where there's smoke, there's usually fire.
Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
Yeah, shout out D. Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D. Haven.
Yeah, we need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
You did.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it.
Speaking of Queen Bey, let's talk about what it must be like being married to literal royalty. Can you imagine the pressure of being Beyoncé's husband? Don't get me wrong, it's probably amazing, but also kind of terrifying. How do you even keep up with that? Then there's family life. Jay's got 3 kids now, and being a dad isn't easy, especially when you're trying to run an empire at the same time. Blue Ivy is growing up fast, and the twins are still little. That's a lot to juggle, even for someone like Jay-Z. But here's the real tea. The music industry isn't exactly known for being kind to people's mental health. It's all about the image, the persona. You've got to be tough, you've got to be invincible. But underneath all that, these artists are just people, and people break sometimes. So when we see Jay-Z crying out for help, maybe what we're really seeing is a man who's been carrying too much for too long. The weight of his past, the pressure of his present, and the uncertainty of his future are all coming crashing down.
Think about Claudia Jordan right now. Claudia Jordan don't ever mention my mother name. She mentioned it yesterday. Talking about why people are afraid to come forward. You mean like you? You was Diddy girl. Corey was Jay-Z girl. Why don't you claim your friend? Claudia.
So, Jack, when you say...
When I say Corey, I'm talking about Kathy White.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z's pregnant mistress,
yeah,
who died of an imaginary fucking aneurysm. Just like the woman who was best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote the book Bling and died as soon as it made the bestsellers list. Who the fuck was these people supposed to go to? You can't go to the boss because the boss is fucking you. And the boss's boss don't get no fuck. Can't go to the authorities. They're all bought and paid for. You could try to get a special prosecutor. but they'll just pay somebody to reassign him to another case. Where the fuck you go when you get f***ed over by the industry? Nowhere. That's where you go nowhere, which is where people like me step in. You right, I go to Diddy parties to walk mother out, cause ain't nobody stopping me when I come.
So let me ask you, because I look at Gabriel Union, and when you mention things like Jay-Z's time is coming for him, then I look at Beyonce, and I say that women do have a
that country album, and any of you that buy that shit are stupid as shit.
You don't give it no
trap
credit.
music with goddamn a holster and a hat.
And you know what? Maybe it's about time. Because the streets are saying that this breakdown might just be the breakthrough Jay-Z needs. It's like they say sometimes, you gotta hit rock bottom before you can start climbing back up. So what's really behind Jay-Z's designer shades? A whole lot of pain, pressure, and probably some stuff we don't even know about yet. But one thing's for sure, this ain't the end of Jay-Z's story. It's just the beginning of a new chapter. And girl, you know we're gonna be here for every juicy detail.
You should have tried it on. Tammy Wynette. Classic. Stand by your man. Don't act like you don't know that hell. Remake that. Stand by that. That's a real country hit. Jolene, nice. But it has a ring to it. Stand by your man. Yeah. Whoops. And disrespects you with other like Kathy Coriana White.
All right, well, let's do it like
who was
this.
actually carrying his baby while you was faking it. Why your husband don't want to put his seed inside of you? He put it in everybody else? Wild in this world, yo.
It's funny, you open up Beyonce's internet, it just gets weird.
Beyonce's internet.
That's what we're calling
That
it.
belongs to the devil. Unless you calling that the devil, she ain't nothing but an employee.
Oh.
And half of which dumbass bitch.
So, it's funny that it's crazy you say these
Why
things.
don't nobody want to accept that bitch bitch?
I think she's.
She went and killed the girl Cats.
Okay.
A girl went to court and charged her with extreme witchcraft. She was hypnotized. She was drugged. Beyonce came and she was in there eating on her and shit while she was asleep. Snacking on his bitch, killing people cats. And guess what? They wouldn't give her the restraining order. They just told her to stay away from Beyonce and work for somebody else. Guess what? She's having a hard time finding work too. Which is interesting because she's a brilliant musician and she was trained at the esteemed Berklee College of Music. Handpicked by my very good friend, Terry Lynn Carrington, Dr. Terry Lynn Carrington, who put together Beyonce's entire female band, which was Matthew Knowles' idea because he couldn't get Beyonce to stop people. Guess you didn't know your daughter well enough because she just started all the girls.
You won't believe the explosion that hit after Jay-Z's breakdown. The streets are buzzing like crazy, and everyone's got something to say about it. It's like the whole world just stopped to watch Hove cry. As soon as that video hit the internet, it was like throwing gasoline on a fire. Twitter went wild, Instagram was on fire, and even TikTok couldn't keep up with all the reactions. Some folks were shook. Like, is this for real? Poor Jay, he needs help. And then of course you had those haters saying it was all for publicity. Chili, the internet never sleeps, and this tea had everyone awake for days. But here's the thing. It wasn't just us regular folks talking. Celebrities were jumping in left and right, showing love for Jay-Z. You had everyone from Diddy to Rihanna posting supportive messages.
Why the f- did that house burn up? Who the f- goes to their childhood house for a visit and the shit goes up in flames?
That was very weird. The next day,
And
within the week?
No, the next day.
The next day.
And still, no real investigation on how the house just went up in flames.
Man.
I guess they paid y'all off. Like they paid y'all off for that Astro World.
So let me ask you.
Texas politics.
Yeah, Texas politics, man. It's that right there. We're gonna talk about the episode, but for right now, I just got to get your take on when we see a Killer Mike win 3 Grammys.
And get arrested immediately after because Jay-Z paid somebody to him up just so he couldn't have a good night. You, Sean.
Hey, man.
Weirdo. Don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever. All I do is frustrate your AI. You can't quantify me. You can't even control your wife. You gonna handle a bitch like me. You can't even control that goofy bitch. You should have did a better job. Maybe she wouldn't have had to lose her mind on Kathy. Cause you ain't protecting you. You're protecting her. Wonder why?
Even Kanye, yes, you heard that right, and we all know how messy that relationship's been, tweeted something nice. It's like the whole music industry came together to have Jay's back. Now, you'd think Jay-Z's team would be all over this, dropping statements left and right, trying to control the narrative. But the streets were saying they were scrambling behind the scenes, trying to figure out what to do. When they finally spoke up, it was all vague talk about taking time for personal matters and asking for privacy. Like, come on, we're all dying for the real tea. But let's talk about what this means for Jay-Z's image. I mean, we're used to seeing him as this untouchable king of hip-hop, always cool, always in control. Now, suddenly, he's breaking down in public. It's like seeing Superman cry, you feel me? Some people are saying this could hurt his career, like maybe he's losing his edge.